In this video, we will speak about the 6 things you need to do after being arrested for DUI in Arizona. 1. First thing you got to do is go home and get some rest. Take those documents that you received after being released, put them in a safe place and get some rest. You don't want to make any decisions right now. You are emotional. You have a bunch of feelings. You're angry. You're upset. You don't want to make any decisions. This is not a good time for you to be making any decisions for your life. A DUI arrest is usually a very traumatic experience for most people. Most people are not used to be treating that way. You know, they put you in a car, they cuff you, they put you in the back of a vehicle. Probably doesn't smell that good. Eventually, they take you out. They tell you a bunch of things that you got to do. They order you around. They put you back in cuffs, blow on this, walk here, and then eventually they strap you down to a chair and they poke you until they draw 2 vials of blood. Not a happy experience. That's not a very good mind frame to be making any decisions that are going to impact your life. So take your documents, put them in a safe place, get some rest. 2, once you're clear-headed, once you're rested and calm, go get those records that you put in a safe place and find the date of your next hearing. It's very important that you go do that. Usually that'll be in some kind of charging document you receive, like a ticket or maybe a release form. It tells you when and where you have to be for your next hearing on your DUI charge, okay? This is a very important thing. Why? Because failing to appear at your next hearing is a misdemeanor offense. So you can get another charge on top of the one you already have. So you don't want to get additional charges. You want to get out of trouble, not into more trouble. So you need to make sure that you put that date down on your calendar and you don't forget. Your next hearing is probably an arraignment. An arraignment is basically the hearing where you show up to the judge for the first time. Judge tells you what the charges are against you and you enter a plea, okay? That's basically what it is. That's how you start the process. So you need to make sure you don't miss it. You don't want another charge and you certainly don't want the judge to issue a warrant for your arrest, okay? 3, once you put down that date on your calendar, now you need to figure out if your driver's license was suspended by the police officer, okay? In Arizona, police officers after a DUI arrest, they usually issue, not always, but most of the time, they issue a driver's license suspension. They use a document called an admin per se implied consent affidavit to do that, okay? I'll put a link on the bottom of the description of the video for you to go see what it looks like. But basically, in this document toward the bottom, there's a little box with some information with a the suspension order, and it has 2 paragraphs with check boxes. One is a 12-month suspension, and another one is a 90-day suspension. You need to go and see which of those boxes, if they were actually marked, because it tells you that your license is going to be suspended in a certain time frame. Usually it's 30 days after service. That means after the day you were served with the order of suspension, which is in this document, which you received on the day of your arrest. So in that little box at the bottom, there'll be another part where it says date served and the time. So that's where it says, when your 30 days begin. Within 30 days of that date, your driver's license or your privilege to drive will be revoked or suspended. If you're suspended, it'll tell you if you're suspended for 90 days or 12 months, depending on the circumstances, okay? 4, if you were suspended, you need to request a hearing with the Arizona Department of Transportation's Executive Hearing Office. Why? Requesting a hearing with the Executive Hearing Office stays the suspension of your driver record. So basically, you ask a hearing with an administrative officer, administrative judge from the Arizona Department of Transportation's Executive Hearing Office, who will listen and see and determine if the suspension is appropriate based on the facts of your case. That means that your driver's license will not be suspended until after that decision takes place. That usually takes a few months. So at the very least, that buys you time to figure out what you're going to do if your license gets suspended, particularly if you're going to get a suspension for 12 months, right? So another thing is sometimes we are able to dismiss a DUI or, get it dismissed or get you something else or find errors or problems with the charges, and then you're not guilty of DUI, right? Or for example, the charges, the BAC comes below the legal limit. Usually we want to wait and see what the evidence says, and then we go to the Executive Hearing Office and the evidence favors you, we get that suspension voided or canceled. You don't have to ask for a hearing, but if you don't ask for a hearing, you will have to do the suspension regardless of what happens with the DUI. So if you win the DUI later, you still have to do your suspension. 5. So now that you've already documented your dates for court, you've figured out if you have a suspension and how to deal with it, and you have your paperwork already in your hand, go and get a consultation with an attorney. It's very important that you consult with an attorney so you can get the answers you need. You need perspective, you need understanding. If you don't understand things, you're not going to make a good decision. Get a consultation with an attorney. Most DI attorneys, we do free consultations. You bring your paperwork, we review it, we talk about your case, we see where we're at. We kind of give you our best guess as to what may come down the line. You really don't know until you see the evidence, but at least with the limited information that you have available to you, you can get some more information, more perspective as to what's going to happen and how to deal with your case going forward. 6, whether you hired an attorney or not, your court date is coming. You're going to have to show up, right? Maybe you're still shopping around. Maybe you decided you don't want to hire a private attorney. It's up to you. That's your decision. But your court is not going to move. The court is still coming. So if you haven't retained an attorney by the date of your court hearing, you're going to have to go without an attorney. That hearing is usually an arraignment. Always, 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 always plead not guilty. Very importantly, you plead not guilty. You can always change your mind. A lot of people ask me, oh, well, maybe I should just plead guilty and just have it done with. No, don't. You don't know what's going on yet. You don't have any information that can actually let you make that decision in a responsible, intelligent, and informed manner. You can always change your mind, and nobody can punish you for exercising your right to plead not guilty and to hold the state to their burden to prove that you're guilty. You can always change your mind. In fact, they'll offer you a plea later, more than likely, to actually get you to change that plea. So wait for that plea. Wait for the information, right? You want information, but it's always your choice. You don't have to plead guilty. You can if you want to, but my advice is wait to see the evidence so you can actually make an intelligent, informed decision as to how to take it. This is assuming you don't have an attorney, right? If you have an attorney, your attorney will enter a not guilty plea for you. We'll do all the paperwork. We'll file some paperwork and notice of appearance and stuff, so you won't really need to deal with this, but we're assuming you didn't retain an attorney by the time your hearing came. So another thing you need to do at the hearing is you need to ask for disclosure. That is copies of all the records, all the evidence that the state is going to use against you at trial. So police reports, photographs, blood work, all that information. Sure, you ask for that, right? Just put it on the record. And finally, if you've decided not to hire an attorney, you should also get the court to appoint you an attorney. So just basically, Your Honor, give me a court-appointed attorney. They'll ask you to fill some forms, about your financials and stuff. And basically, if the charges, which usually does qualify, if the charges and your financial situation qualify, then they'll give you a court-appointed attorney. And that's not free. Here in Pima County, it's a few $100, but it's better than no attorney. Those are the 6 things you need to do after you get arrested for a DUI. If you still have more questions about DUI, in the description down below, there's my phone number. Also, up top, you have a link to my homepage. And also in the description, you'll find the link to book a free consultation with me. If you're not ready for that, that's fine. Here's another video that I did that explains more in depth what a DUI is in Arizona. Go take a look at it and it'll give you more of an understanding. So if you still have more questions, give me a call or book a consultation, the link below. I'll give you a free consult. We'll talk about your case, see if we're the right fit. And I'm here to help. Good luck with your case.